So I'll just address Jessica Hoff, Jessica and Spencer. Are you two okay? Maybe 5, 10 minutes after, if there are any questions or comments and things. Are you happy to?
Yeah, no problem.
Marvelous.
Yeah, sure.
I'll try and think of one I haven't asked you already in our previous interview, but I'll try and think of something a bit more. We covered a lot of ground, I think, didn't we?
You're lucky because I've got a terrible memory, so I can't remember what you asked the first time round.
Do you know what? That means I'm gonna ask you the same question and see if you give a different answer. I should have said that.
Probably.
Yeah. Right. So there we go. Nice bit of jolly music there at the end of a rather sinister event. You got a bit of an applause there, Jessica and Spencer. I believe Lola was on the call. I don't know if she's come back. Anyway, get your questions in if you have any. Put them in the chat or unmute and speak aloud. I've got a couple just to warm you all up to start with. I'm going to come to Spencer first, if he's available.
Hi. Yes, I am here.
Hello, this is the guy who plays Brian. Um, so I suppose just a quick question is like, what did you think of the script when you read it? And also tell us, bearing in mind she's on the call, how Jessica works.
Oh, wow, that's a big one. This, in terms of the script, really intrigued by the way it kind of danced along lines between genres and also always staying in this place of uncertainty. And even at the end, we don't really know what Brian's intentions might have been. So that part intrigued me, and just the challenge of playing something a little bit multifaceted that could be interpreted in different ways, I guess. And in terms of how Jess works, she was really warm and made me feel really comfortable as an actor right off the top. And honestly, I can say that for everybody on set. It was a great set to work on, and she really cares about her craft. We spent, I think, maybe an hour, hour and a half, and having just like a first one-on-one meeting where we kind of broke down not just really what the story meant and the kind of deeper meanings behind it, the inspirations behind it, but also that uncertainty of who Brian was, which really helped me a lot in my performance, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And are you a killer? No, I'm only kidding. That's not a real question. Um, Jessica, if you're available. Yes.
Hi. Hi, hi.
Hello. How are you doing?
I'm good. That was very nice of you, Spencer.
Oh, it's all true.
Yeah. If you could just leave the call, Jess, I'm going to ask him again. So it's just no. um, I suppose like just a quick question on the casting. Like, how did you find the two leads? And just tell us a little bit about the writing process. Where did this come from?
The casting process was quite easy in the sense that it was only two main cast.
Mm.
I was actually working in a bar. I funded this with bartender tips, and I was working in a bar, and I met Lola, who plays Cassidy. She was also working in the bar, and as a joke, I said, "Haha, we should make a short film together." And she said, "Yeah, yeah." And then I just sort of held her to it. So that was that casting. And then the other one with Spencer, so Enrique, the producer, came on board quite early on. Um, like as in, I mean, obviously he came on early on, but we didn't have very long to get into production, and he just took it in a stride and just made it all happen. And the first thing that he did was I mean, I think it was Spencer, you'd know more than me, but there was like because obviously I'm not Canadian, I don't know the Canadian film industry very well. But there was like some sort of a group. Oh my God, I sound like an old lady, but like there was somewhere where people then sent in short, they sent in like self tapes, and
Mm.
Spencer's was actually the first one that I watched, but I watched about 10, and it was really interesting. Different people did it differently, like really interpreted everything very differently. And Spencer's was, I think, caught my eye the most. And then we asked him for a second go,
Yeah.
where I gave him some direction, and he was so great at taking direction that I just thought, this is it, this is the one.
Excellent.
Um, and then when it comes to coming up with a story, it's a true story. When I lived in Melbourne, me and my friend were both really broke, trying to make our way. Um, she is a Glaswegian and was doing the exact same door-to-door solar panel sales job. And a man, it was like 45 degrees in Melbourne. So her iPad overheated. And this guy who had just said, oh, no, 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 my partner deals with the bills, invited her back inside. And what's
Mm.
really interesting is that he was actually significantly creepier. She's watched it and she was like, oh my God, he was so much creepier, but it's actually scarier that you've made him less creepy because you don't know more. Whereas I feel like we've all seen a film where a girl gets creeped out by an ostensibly creepy man. So I was trying to do something a bit different.
Yeah. And I mentioned this before, Jess, but like I suppose if Spencer feels this, it is a little bit like there's a scene in Silence of the Lambs. I'm not going to spoil it. Towards the end, when the lead character goes into somebody's house and realizes where she is. This is what I thought of that. Was that any inspiration for either of you?
I actually wrote my dissertation on Science of the Lambs.
No.
So probably, but my dissertation was on psychopaths in literature. So I did Gone Girl and
Right.
Science of the Lambs. We need to talk about Kevin, Tantalus
Yeah.
Ripley, and American Psycho. So probably all of that came into play a bit. I find the unreliable narrator the most interesting. So I wouldn't say specifically it didn't feel specifically like Silence of the Lambs, but I had
Yeah.
recently seen Heretic, and I think that was probably a bit of an inspiration as
Oh,
well.
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Look, Sarah's in the chat, but I love the ambiguity of whether we are dealing with the loneliness of Brian, him being a predator or something else. Yeah, and was all that in the script, Jess, that you wanted that multifaceted perception of somebody? Like, is he this? Is he that?
So I wanted it to be all very much from Cassidy's point of view. I mean, maybe men on the call, but any women in the call will know the feeling of feeling anxious about someone and then convincing yourself you're being an idiot and you're overreacting and you feel like, oh my God, I'm judging them too quickly. So I better be nicer. And then actually your spidey senses were right because we've been raised on true crime. So it was a bit of that. In the script, it was a lot of stage direction about, oh, shall I drink the tea? Oh no, no, I shouldn't. It could be poison. Oh, what's that? Oh, I'm mad. Oh
Yeah,
no, he's sweet. Oh, no, he's not sweet. And it was like that. So put a lot of Lola's door to sort of portray all of that just through her facial expressions. But we did decide, everybody decided, especially Spencer and I, what Brian is. But we decided to
yeah.
leave it so that the audience never gets to find out. But we did know. We knew what the crack was. There was no
Are you
Hmm.
gonna
for
are you gonna
us.
tell us, or you're not gonna tell us, are you? No.
No,
I don't think I'm
no,
allowed.
no. You
Spencer, if
can.
you Spencer, stay on the call after Jess has left, and we'll have a little chat about it and get to know each other a bit more. Um, no, but congratulations. I mean, we don't have a lot of time, obviously, but yeah, congratulations. One thing I do want to touch on is it's a very, very serious topic, as you've mentioned there, but you bring it to the screen with elements of comedy. Obviously, that's intentional. Is that a difficult thing to do, to like a true story, then bring elements of comedy? I mean, especially at the end where she runs for her life, but you put the music contradicts that. It's very strange.
Yeah, I mean, I think in like horror films, obviously you get a lot of like nursery rhymes, which are meant to be cozy and sweet and for kids, and they're especially creepy when in that specific context. I think life is funny. Nothing is ever like super dramatic. There's always moments of humor, and
Yeah,
melodrama to me doesn't exist in real life and like how I move through life anyway. And this was one of these stories when I got the text from my friend who experienced this. She texted me saying, oh my God, I thought I was about to be raped and murdered. And then she laughed about it minutes later because she was fine. And it's the kind of thing that it's like, it's funny until it's not funny.
yeah,
And like, there are lots of stories that all of us have where we've got ourselves into trouble and years later we find it funny, but probably because we were okay in the end. If everything hadn't been okay, we wouldn't have found the humor in it.
that
But I
makes
think
sense.
it was quite, I mean, Spencer, for you, I feel like we were able to play a little bit with the humor of Brian and like him being a bit weird. Is he being
Yeah.
funny weird or is he being not funny weird?
Yeah, for sure. And it actually is funnier seeing it now because that's my first time seeing it than I kind of had anticipated it would be, which is interesting. Yeah, I just tried to go for like kind of a almost sickeningly nice kind of interpretation of the character until he can't keep up the energy to be nice anymore. And then we start to see something else underneath there. But we definitely talked about, just maybe this is all coming from his loneliness, and that's just what's driving his attempt to connect with somebody. So there has to be that interpretation there, where it's just an honest attempt to, make a friend or something more, even if that's not what's really going on.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because it was nice. This is the last thing I'm going to say, but it is nice to invite someone into your house because they're cold. But unfortunately, we don't live in that type of world anymore, do we? So, yeah, I think you balanced the contradictions really well. So, congratulations to both of you.
Thank
Give
you.
my regards to Lola as well.
I
The,
shall.
yeah, I know she jumped on the call, but I think she's gone off. But yeah, congratulations. Everybody else, just all yourselves. You're happy to stay on. I'm going to take 2 minutes, but we'll start the next film in around 5 minutes or so. But yeah, thank you all for taking part.
Thank you for
Congratulations on the
watching,
film,
everybody.
Jess.
Yes, thank you.
All right. I'll be back. Thank you, everyone.